Hello Virgo, I am Ulrich, a Lenormand card reader, and now we will do the Lenormand card reading for the month of August for the sign of Virgo. On the table here you see 9 cards, and these are the cards we will use for this reading. On the table also you see 4 objects here, meaning we will do 4 card readings for each astrological sign, and this video here is for the sign of Virgo. So you can find all 4 videos for the sign of Virgo on my channel for the month of August 2021. From these 4 objects, you choose or you pick one that you think relates best to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice should or it will relate then the best to your current situation. Of course, you can watch all 4 Virgo videos and then decide which one is fitting best your personality or which object is fitting you best. The matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. So Virgo, there we go for your card laying for August 2021. Hello Virgo, and welcome to your card reading for August. We are now proceeding with the matches or the fire group for this month. So the first card we see here is the fish, and the fish is about multiplying money, things that expand. The last card here is the mountain. The mountain can mean abroad. It can mean that we are delayed with something that can represent some delays, some obstacles. So we will go for the reading and where we will see where this leads. These are the two important cards for the reading. So we start here with the fish. We see the fish in the crossroads. So this is like we need to make a choice about money. Maybe this choice about money is related to the job. It's possible also it's related to our creative arts. If we have a job in creativity, maybe the money is related to that. It's possible that we make money out of creative art or something artistic, and we need to make certain choices about this. We are standing in front of a choice. Maybe we need to make a certain investment for being creative. These are all possibilities here. It's possible also because the moon is a proposal that you get a financial proposal for the art. That is possible also. Maybe you have some money yourself, and this money gives you a sense of freedom. Or it gives you financial opportunities, and because you have some money, you can make some decisions related to your art, to your work, to your creativity. The moon is also the mind. It's how we think. It's the people. This is like we sense where we need to go with our work. This is what actually what it means. The moon also softens things up. So the decision that you need to make is not really harsh. So it's actually like an easy decision. You're placed in front of the choice, but actually the decision goes quite smooth if it's related to your job or to your creativity or to your creative arts. Also, it can mean you can make profits out of, if you are creative, if you do something, if you create something, you can make actual profits out of it if you choose to do so. You get a proposition. I told you this already. Invitations. The decision is also, there's emotions involved, but it's not like there's emotions involved, but maybe because of the money, you're a little bit emotional about it, but it's actually quite a good decision. It's not a bad decision. I see nothing negative here. If you think about it substantially, there will be no problem. Maybe you need to give it some time because the mountain represents time. So that you need to think about it a little bit. Maybe you need to process it a little bit, but maybe if it's for the month, maybe you need to make a decision this month. Maybe by the end of the month you will know where you are going. So you don't need to have a fear of choice. You just need to think about it, and make at the end of the month, you need to make a choice. It could be possible because this is literally magic at the crossroads. So it could mean that this works all very well out. As I said, if you think it over well, you don't need to be fear for the decision. If you know exactly where you're going, there's no reason to be fearful or to extend the decision. Maybe you're not forced into the decision, but a decision needs to be made. Then we have the second line here. We have the garden, the clouds, and the ship. The garden is public life. It's all about our public life. We are appearing in public, and we are thinking about that. And we are thinking here about making money out of the public. It's a little bit similar to the previous laying. The thinking is here also. Here is the crossroad, the choice, and here is the thinking. So it's the same again. Probably there's a decision, an important decision that you need to make somewhere. It's possible also that with people, you think in group. Maybe you think in a group about this decision, about these finances. Maybe because the ship is also finances and business, so it's the same a little bit as there. Maybe you think in a group what to do, how to make this business decision, because the ship is business, things we entrepreneur, things we long for. This is what the ship means. Maybe because the decision is hard for you, you talk about it in public with friends, with people that are like-minded like you. Maybe you try to stay neutral about it, and you try to observe what others think about it. That is possible also. It's like you act like to others that you don't care about the decision, but actually you do. It's like you have a little bit of poker face when they talk a lot of it. So you just listen to the opinions. So you hear several opinions and several meanings, and maybe eventually by the end of the month you will be out of your decision. But there might be some confusion for your decision. Then we have the clouds and the ship. If you go on a trip, maybe you need to be a little bit careful. Maybe you encounter, because this is sometimes bad weather, you encounter, if you take a boat, a ship, or a car, maybe you encounter some bad weather in the future. It is possible also. It's possible also that if you have a vehicle, that the vehicle breaks down. So if you go on a journey somewhere, just make sure that the vehicle is well maintained. Let's check it out before you leave on some journey, because there could be some issues with the vehicle if you don't let it check it out. It's also possible that the place where you're going is hard to reach, because the clouds can sometimes give a little bit hard to reach. So maybe your destination is unclear. If you take the boat, of course you have no control if you take a ship or a boat over it. But if you take like a plane or a boat, it's possible that there are some delays with the schedule of the trip. Maybe there's a delay in the train, maybe there's a delay in the airplane. Whatever vehicle you take, there might be some delay, and maybe the delays are because of weather conditions that are going on there. Then we come in the last line here. We see the clovers, the ring, and the mountain. The clovers is the luckiest card out of the deck. So this is luck all over. This is very positive. If you're in a relationship now, this relationship is very positive. There's a positive light on the relationship. Also, there's some thinking about that. Maybe there's also a relationship going on, and you think about the relationship. Maybe the relationship is involved in the work. Maybe it's related to your partner, and your partner need to decide more, because I'm going here from the aspect that you are single. But if you're married, maybe your spouse or your wife is involved in the decision, and that's why you are a little bit slow about the decision. This is possible also. but actually the marriage is okay, is an agreement. You understand each other, it's happy. If you're not yet in a relationship, and you're going into the relationship, it might be difficult to reach each other, because the mountain sometimes represents abroad. So it's possible that you have a relationship, because the mountain also is in the internet and also abroad. So it's possible that it's a relationship online, because the ship is abroad, as we saw earlier. It's possible that you have a relationship with somebody in abroad, and that the communication sometimes is difficult. Maybe the internet connection is bad sometimes in the country where you're connected. Maybe the person is in a country abroad, and the internet conversations, the internet connections are not so solid or so secure there. So maybe that's the reason why it's difficult to communicate with a potential partner or a potential friend, or more than a friend, because here it could mean that if you're not yet married, it could mean that the commitment is still in the phase of developing. But there is contact, and as I said, maybe sometimes it's difficult for contact. Maybe there's a weak link in the internet communication, as happens in some countries that the internet is not so strong. The ring and the tower, then there's some distance in the relationship. It might also be that you're not actually like crazy in love, but you think that the relationship has potential. You are rational about the relationship. You think it has potential for you. That is what he's here also. You think about, maybe this is could be a binding factor. You're a little bit neutral about it. You think rational, logical about it. If there's potential in there, we are not yet in the stage of marriage. We are here in another stage. Maybe the relationship is a little bit loose. Maybe it's still on the internet. If it's already a relationship that you're involved in, marital, this line can point to that the relationship is a little bit distant for the moment, for this month, because the mountain gives a little bit distance. It can be a little bit cold, emotionless. Maybe you're very occupied with this project, and the relationship between both partners is a little bit under there, and you think, and your partner thinks also. So there's some emotional distance in the relationship. It's possible that you isolate yourself a little bit, like in the mountain, on yourself, and you think about taking a rational decision about this whole thing that you need to take. That's what I'm seeing here. Then we go in the verticals. We have the fish here, the garden, and the clovers. If the partner is closer to you, you have the possibility to be close to each other, but not only mentally. Also, you could, if you want, mostly in couples, it's like that. You actually can consume the relationship. There's action here possible with the relationship, with the public life. So if you have a relationship and the relationship is stable, and it's maybe for some reasons, sometimes it's a little bit distant. But if you want to interact, this is possible here with this combination, because here we can see that the relationship, the fish is multiplying, and the garden is actually we execute, and the lucky card is here, the clovers. So you both will agree. There will be no discussions about this. So it can work out for that if you want to proceed with that. Then we have the let's see, social opportunity. Also, this points to social life, like that maybe you get invites for being social. Maybe you are invited literally in a place, in a public place, social opportunities. Maybe a lot of people invite you, the couple of you. If you're not yet bound to a relationship, it's possible also when you go in the public life that you get some invites there, or you find a partner there but it would be like a free, because the garden is free, there would be no commitment. It's like an interaction between two partners without an actual commitment, if you are not in the relationship yet. That is what we see here also. This is public entertainment also, you're invited. And then we go in the second line here. We have the crossroads, the clouds, and the ring. Yeah, again, here I see that you need to watch out for the vehicles and for the bad weather here. You hesitate, again, as I said before, hesitating in the choices because you don't know where to go. It's the same again, you're ambivalent about the decisions. And then we have the clouds and the ring here. It's also possible that but I don't see the snake here or the fox, because those are cards that there is a triangle relationship. But here, this combination of cards, it could mean that there is a hidden relationship because the clouds hide the relationship. Or maybe you feel comfortable in your relationship and you stay inside. That is possible also. But these two cards can sometimes point that there is some hiding in the relationship, or maybe you feel secure in the relationship, but actually this is more hiding. If there is issues with the partner, there's some distance, it's probably, it can refer that we saw before here, there's some coldness that you draw back a little bit and maybe you hide a little bit. That is possible here also. With this relationship, it's like you it can also mean that you have you want to perceive a logical, you take some distance from your relationship, you go up the mountains and you take perspective. It's like you're looking at a map and you see where the map will lead you. You think about the relationship that you are. Or it's possible also that you have invested a lot of emotions in this relationship, and you hide how much actually you invested in that relationship. So that is possible also. If it's business-like, I would say here, this could also point, because the money card is here, maybe there's a secret investor if you have a project going on, and maybe the investor want to stay anonymous. That is possible also. If you have an investor, maybe your investor want to stay anonymous if he becomes he might become a supporter or an aid for your project, but maybe he want to stay anonymous like that. That is possible also, but you understand each other, and the right things happen here. You are thinking about how do you actually proceed with this relationship. One thing I tell you here, because the clouds are here, if you actually make a contract, what is possible, because the contract is here with investors, read the fine print, because the clouds can sometimes cloud the contract. So read the back of the contract. If you don't understand the contracts, it's always wise to inform with somebody, with an authority, with somebody who knows about contract before you commit to this you commit to this contract, because the clouds are clouding the actual contract. So that you afterwards have no confusion and that you're absolutely sure what you signed, because that is what we see here also. So just be careful that you are aware of what you're signing. Then we have the moon, the ship, and the mountain. A lot of these cards have to do with abroad, communication in abroad, feelings in abroad. This is about traveling. This is about business, a good sense of business. This is the mind. So if you do some business, it can go quite smooth, but maybe there's a problem. Here I told you before, it's like maybe there's a communication problem. There's some difficulties because it's like the ship cannot enter because there's some rocks in front of the ship. So it's like the ship cannot anchor. It's also possible that that there are some difficulties, why the ship cannot anchor in abroad. Maybe there's some delays for something, and you cannot do business for some reason with abroad. Some actions are not possible, even though you want them to pass. What is also possible then from a positive point of view, and we're going to see the mountain in a positive aspect now, it's possible that you get an invitation for a trip in abroad. So that's the positive. Then we see the mountain as a positive aspect, which I think is here the case, that you are invited for a trip in abroad. So that would be possible also. I think also you have a good feeling on this trip if you take it. It will you will set your mind then to the trip. Maybe the traveling going there, you will need to be alone, because I told you maybe I told you already, maybe because this partner is in abroad, and maybe the traveling there you need to be travel alone because the mountain is alone. That is possible. There might be some problems if you arrive there in the in that country, because some countries we still are in the corona time. Maybe there's some seclusion necessary. Maybe you need to go in quarantine or something. Maybe that is the issue here. There's some solitude, some alone. Here there's some isolation actually, but the trip in itself is okay. But here this is like you need to calculate in the foreign authority. So there's something going on here with a foreign authority that controls something when you arrive there, or some authority that tells you that you need to that it's difficult to get in there. That is possible here also. It depends on your point where you want to journey to. In some countries, the quarantines still exist. So maybe that is possible, that is there. Here, this combination also to tell you, tells you to control everything well. Yeah, that's it. So Virgo, for your we need to do the cross. I've almost forgot the cross here. The cross, we have the fish, the mountain, the fish, the clouds, and the mountain. Again, this is the confusion about the investment that you need to make, unsure about money. Again, we already had that. You need to make a decision. We saw that already. It's the same again. And then we have the mountain, the clouds and the mountain. Yeah, you need to make sure that you don't have trouble. I already noticed this here, that you be alone, you are rational, a little bit confused. Yeah, we already had that. And then we do the other cross, the moon, the clouds, and the clovers. As I said earlier, it's possible that you keep some distance in your feelings, in your emotions. You have mixed emotions. Your emotions, maybe you don't show your emotions. You need some time alone. We already had that. And then we have here the investors. Maybe I'm thinking you have some money, but maybe you are not willing to invest your own money in the project. Maybe you want some help from somebody from the collective, and you want you want to build in, and that somebody helps you, so you don't need to invest all that you have in your project. That is possible here also. But the things can work out in your advantage because you have the clovers here. But if you don't want to take the risk alone, you can ask somebody to help you. Yeah. The worst is behind here. So if you make sure that the fine print of the contract is okay, you would be okay. So just let's see that if you make agreements, if you make contracts, Virgo fire group, that the contracts are okay. Don't be in a rush. Double check the contracts that you're gonna undertake with people, with co-investors. See that everything is in order. But for the rest, this is a fairly good laying. So Virgo, for the fire group, I hope you enjoyed my card laying. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye now.